Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day this video finds you. Prepare yourself to drop a comment down below because I hope to foster a healthy discussion about our favorite Monster Hunter games. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the focus of today's video is going to be, would the guiding lands fix Monster Hunter Rise? Okay, now let me set one thing straight. Monster Hunter Rise is not broken, okay? It's just built different compared to Iceborne, okay? Monster Hunter Rise is not broken. I love that game. It has some of the most fun combat in the entire series. I love that game to death, okay? Like, I'm not a Rise hater. I still play it pretty often, so yeah, I don't hate Rise, okay? I actually love the game. However, criticism is healthy, right? Especially if you bring to the table solutions to your criticisms, and that's what I intend to do here today. Okay, so would the guiding lands fix Rise? So for those of us who didn't play Iceborne, right, which is the title that came before Rise on PS4 and Xbox One, which now play on the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, which is what you're watching right now. Is you're watching my Iceborne character run through the guiding lands. Okay, now what is the guiding lands, right? Like I said, for those of us who didn't play the game, just want to have a short little description of what the guiding lands are. So the guiding lands is one map that has a series, like a small little section of each map crammed together into one large map, right? And what you'll see throughout, you know, the rest of this video is my character running through all of the different biomes. That's it. That's the word. Biomes of the guiding lands, right? So like, you know, in Monster Hunter, you got, you know, the ice level, you got the lava level, you got the forest, you got the desert. The guiding lands has all of those biomes crammed into a single map, right? So theoretically, you could fight every monster in this game, except for Juriatotus, I think. You could fight every monster in this game in this single map, right? So, and in this map, all the monsters have a little bit more HP, they hit a little bit harder, and so that gives you that end game grind, right? Because these monsters hit a little harder. These monsters have a bit more health, so they're a bit more of a challenge than your regular quest monsters, right? Which is also another issue that people, you know, bring up about Rise. The game is not hard enough. Well, the guiding lands have monsters with more HP. They hit harder, and you can fight theoretically every monster in the game in this one map, right? And they also have different drops, which you take and you use to augment your equipment to make them even stronger, right? So that you can fight the guiding lands monsters even better than you could before, than with base gear without augments, right? Like I said, the guiding lands has many different biomes in the one singular map. However, each biome has its own level that you can level up, right? So the forest, the desert, the volcano, the iceland, they all have their own level, and as you level up each biome, more and more crazy monsters that come from that area will appear in your guiding lands, right? So what's about to happen, what you're seeing right now, is I'm about to pull up on a Kushala Daora, right? Because my forest level is level 7, it's at the max level. So this bad boy right here, he's a tempered Kushala Daora. Tempered meaning he's stronger than a regular Kushala Daora, who's already pretty strong, and then he's even stronger than the tempered Kushala Daora quest that I could take in the regular game. Like, this is the strongest version of Kushala Daora that's in this game, which makes him more difficult than usual, which I think is something that Rise could really benefit from, right? Because that's one of the big issues that the community at large is kind of saying about the game. It's too easy. Well, give us a guiding lands map that we can grind on, right? That we have to take time to level up each of the different biomes to unlock the monsters we want to fight, and make them harder than usual when we do unlock them to fight them. Solves two issues, right? There's no end game, there's nothing to do at the end. The guiding lands would offer a whole lot to do, because now you got each separate biomes to work on, and each new monster to unlock, right? The harder version of each monster to unlock to fight. So now you've got difficulty and you've got something to do at the end. Great, right? Two birds, one stone. Another thing that I think they could put in the guiding lands for Rise is monsters that you unlock, like you unlock a quest when you reach the max level of each bio, right? Which features a monster that is not present in the game anywhere else, right? Like have it be a super surprise. And the guiding lands in Iceborne did kind of do that with certain monsters that I'm not going to talk about here. For those of us who haven't played the game, go back and play it. It's amazing. They unlock certain monsters that just were not in the story, that weren't apparent in any other part of the game. But once you got your biome to the max level or a high enough level and unlock those monsters, you got quests and expeditions that featured those new monsters that you could fight, which solves another issue people have about Rise. Oh, we need more monsters in the game to fight, even though it has a pretty sizable roster already. They could sneak in some surprises for us to unlock using the guiding lands, right? Level up a biome to max, and then maybe a Devil Joe will show up. Like, oh, bro, we didn't even know Devil Joe was in the game. Like, it would be great. And I think it would revive Rise. Not to say Rise is dead. Rise doesn't need reviving. It's great. But that would bring a lot of positive chatter to the game. And of course, with those monsters should come armor sets and weapons, right? Like we should get armor sets and weapons that come from the monsters that you can only unlock via the top levels of each biome, right? Because like I said, the guiding lands monsters hit harder, they have more HP, so it's kind of like a high rank plus, right? Not quite G rank, but like a high rank plus. So we're gonna need some better armor and better weapons, right? And let's say the first biome you choose to unlock, you gotta tough it out and, you know, go through it with your best high rank armor until you fell that first monster, and then you get the armor and the weapons from that monster to make the rest of the guiding lands a bit easier to grind through, right? And then also there's, you know who we are, we're hunters, right? So like we love showing off our armor and weapons. You know, you imagine you grind through one of the biomes of the guiding lands, you get to the end, you get the monster, you farm all the parts and the weapons, and then you're gonna join like maybe some random's quest just so they can see you in that new gear. That way they're looking at you like, yo, what kind of armor does this dude have? I think that's something that, you know, a lot of hunters would go after, right? Like fashion is the true end game of Monster Hunter, right? And of course with the new armors and the new weapons come more layered. We love fashion. Come on, Capcom, give it to us. So yes, obviously I'd like something like the guiding lands in Rise so I could play the game more, because I love the game's combat so much and I love playing the game so much. However, I do understand, I mean, we just finished like one little lap of each of the biomes in the guiding lands here, and this map obviously is not going to work for Monster Hunter Rise. I mean, it's too detailed, and the level design is designed around hunters that don't have the mobility that we have in Rise. So I thought about that too as well, right? And I think there's two map structures that I think would work really, really well when it comes to implementing the guiding lands in Rise. And the first thought that came to my mind was this pyramid that's in the flooded forest, okay? So imagine you have this pyramid, right? And on each of the four sides of the pyramid, right? Because the pyramid's a square. The pyramid is a square. On each of the four sides of the pyramid, you have a different biome, right? And you know, you could change the geometry of the pyramid a little bit, or even make it like a mountain, right? So it's not as like obvious. But you put this thing in the middle of the map, and you put different biomes on each of the four sides of it, and then maybe you can hollow it out and have the inside be a fifth biome, if you will, right? So that way the guiding lands would support this new mobility that we have in Rise when it comes to, you know, the wire bugs. And maybe you can put some some great silk bugs, some great wire bugs, I think that's what it is, some great wire bugs strategically around the pyramid. That way you can zoom to the middle of whichever biome you want to at first, and maybe you put a camp at the top of the pyramid or something, and that's where you spawn in, and then boom, from there you can go to whichever biome you want. I mean, look at this, right? Like the draw distance on this thing is incredible. You see Valstrax up there, right? Like way out there on the other side of the map, right? But on this map, on the Flooded Forest, they have the pyramid kind of tucked away in the corner. So imagine you put this in the middle, right? I mean, and you change the map geometry a little bit. And like the Flooded Forest is, I think, one of the smaller maps in Rise. So yeah, you change the map geometry a little bit, to accommodate, you know, the needs of what the guiding lands needs to be. And you put a biome on each of the 4 sides, hollow out the middle of it. That's the 5th biome. Cool. And then maybe as a reward for unlocking the max level of all of the guiding land biomes, maybe you have a big fight at the top of the pyramid with like some legendary elder dragon like Amatsu, or like a white fatalis shows up. You know, like, wouldn't that be like a really cool end game send off for Monster Hunter Rise that, you know, would fit the game as well? So yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. So that was my first idea. The other idea I had for what kind of map would suit Rise would actually be the Rotten Vale, right? So we're about to cut to some Rotten Vale footage, but the thing about the Rotten Vale is they have like these long pathways that kind of go up or down that lead to like little arenas where you can have decent hunts. And I took that idea and kind of made like a giant spiraling staircase, if you will, on the outside of the map that would change as you go up or down, right? So like, let's say you go up, then there'd be like a forest type place, but then if you turn around and go down, maybe you get to a volcano, right? Or maybe at the top there's an ice place, or, you know, like as you change elevation, you change biome, right? And then in this setup, you'd have like, it'd be like a giant staircase on the outside as you'd run up through the biomes. And then let's say we could have a camp on the top, a camp on the bottom, and then a camp in the middle, right? And then maybe at the end, you know, for reaching max biome level for all the biomes, a new area unlocks at the very, very, very bottom, where you have like a big scary elder dragon for, you know, your final fight finisher type deal. So yeah, that's also another structure of map that I think would work well with Rise, because it would let us use our new wirebug mobility to get around and zip around the map quickly. And of course you could place strategically, of course you could place great wirebugs along the map. That way the player can zip up and down through the levels, you know, quickly if you wanted to, or even have like places where you could climb up and down, you know, like vines that you could climb up and down and traverse through the biomes very quickly, and do it in a fun way that suits this new movement that we have in Rise, as opposed to something that, you know, already existed in Iceborne. So yeah, those are my ideas on how I think the guiding lands could be implemented in Rise. And tell me what you think. Do you think implementing something like a couple of my ideas, or the guiding lands in general as a concept, would fix Rise? And once again, I'm going to reiterate, Rise is not broken, right? I really love Rise, but the big complaints are there's not enough endgame content and the game is not hard enough, where I think the guiding lands could fix both of those issues very handedly, give players something very meaty to sink their teeth into, and of course give us a reason to continue hunting, which is one of the issues that Rise currently has. I love the game. I don't like seeing all the Rise hate online, but criticism can be healthy if, you know, you bring new ideas to the table or foster healthy discussion, right? So I'm not here to attack anybody that hates Rise. I just, you know, want to have a civil discussion about these games that we love so much. So yeah, head to the comments down below, drop comments. I promise I will respond to each and every comment that's left on this video. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like Monster Hunter content. I'll keep pumping it out because I really enjoy making it for you guys. And yeah, so just like that, we're out. And as usual, happy hunting. Peace.